this kind of bootlicking and this type of video, like this works. Again, 400,000 views and people, you got like the Trump people like, yeah, show this to your lib friends. Don't show it to your lib friends because your lib friends can read and they're going to fact check and they're going to be like, wait a minute, that's fucking stupid. All right, this was when I checked, it had somewhere around 400,000 views on Twitter from this morning. This is obviously a stitch. This is what we call propaganda, and it's amazing. The format is clear. This is when I was still working in sales, like door-to-door sales adjacent. Like one of the companies I worked for, we did solar, so we had like a door-to-door component. This format went out, like these 1-minute clips, and they go out and it's people having a discussion, and it looks like it's a podcast, and they film it in this exact way. It's a single shot on two people, and it just cuts back and forth. Sometimes it'll do a wide pan, but you're trying to put out something there that's a minute at a time. There were literally groups like businesses that went around that taught you like how to create content that would drive people in that would want to make money. So you'd put out like it's kind of like red pill stuff, right? Like make your life better and your sales will improve. This is the same type of shit. This is really kind of the way that like Andrew Tate rose to prominence. He put out these types of 1-minute videos that are out of context but sound crazy. This is one of those videos that sounds, when you hear it, sounds absolutely insane. And then you have this guy who's going to come in later. I forget his TikTok handle and stitch it. And look, there's a lot of things that I think are dumb. And near the top of that list are Trump bootlickers. But I think what's way worse than a Trump bootlicker is a Canadian Trump bootlicker. Like somebody this is a Canadian who just like wants Trump to be right so badly that he swears by this video full of information. I've got the data on this just to cover it, but I wanted you to see the video.
Here it goes. The tariffs are on, but here's the truth they're not telling you.
The tariffs that Canada levies and impose right now on U.S. products, this is not new. It's been predating Trump. Milk, 270% tariff. Cheese, 245%. Butter, 298%. Chicken, 238%. Sausages, 69.9%. Lol. Copper, 48% tariffs. Aluminum, 45% tariffs. Steel, 25% tariffs. We tariff their metals more than they tariff ours. You know, cars, 45%. TVs, 45%. Eggs, 163%.
How does that work for tariffing American cars? Usually tariffs are to protect like your own industry. Yeah. But we don't have any Canadian car manufacturers.
I don't think they give a fuck.
Canadians.
Yeah, that's probably. They just didn't give a fuck. All right. Here's the truth on those numbers. All of the agricultural products that they talked about, milk, cheese, chicken, I think, did they have eggs in there? Butter. All of those have a quota, and none of them, none of the materials like the copper, the cars, all of those tariffs were actually removed in the deal that Trump negotiated. So the last half of those claims, those tariffs don't even exist because that was part of Trump's agreement with Mexico and Canada is they wouldn't tariff each other. But these other ones, these agricultural products, they have a quota. So the United States can only send a certain amount in, and that's to keep from the United States, which has 350 million people, flooding the Canadian market with our produce and wiping out Canadian farmers. So Canadians annually will look at this number and they'll say, all right, here's what we're producing, here's what we're willing to bring in. And for everything that they bring in, 98% of all produce they bring in, and I don't mean 98% of all produce like by individual item, I mean like in totality. 98% of it comes through either completely duty-free or with a very small tax, which is, I think in some places can be like 7%. All those numbers that they talked about, the 270% for milk, what was it, 298% for chicken, all of those only apply once you go past the quota. And the reason that they put those tariffs on is to protect their own farmers, and nobody's going to buy American milk at a 300% markup when you have Canadian milk that's way cheaper, right? It's a good way to do it, especially when your neighbor is a massive country. They're just like, I can't believe this. This is crazy. But every stat that they just laid out there is only once you've met the quota. And again, 98% of the products never get tariffed. 98%. Those numbers, cool to read, they mean almost nothing. Almost nothing gets tariffed at those rates.
Copper, 48% tariffs. I don't think they give a fuck.
Canadians love to shit on Americans, but the hypocrisy is uncanny. All these tariffs have been online from way before Trump. Sure, a lot of it has to do with supply management.
No.
and they're based on quotas. It does not absolve the fact that we tariff American goods. We are not for free trade. Absolutely not.
Correct. Nope. Nobody is, including the United States. We're also not for free trade. No, there is no such thing as free trade anywhere. Every country protects themselves. Every country does this. There is no such thing as completely free trade. Otherwise, you wouldn't have tariffs. You wouldn't have borders. If you would, like, this is like the libertarian psycho behavior that you see from Canadian libertarians and Americans. We're like, I'm a libertarian. I believe in free trade. No, the fuck you don't. Because you believe in borders. You can't believe in borders and free trade at the same time because the borders cut off your free trade, right? So yeah, I mean, I guess like if you want no countries, which sounds like communism, then sure.
If not, we would flood the market with American products. In the end, this is nothing more than another...
You can't. You have 40 million people. You don't have the capacity to flood the American market in the way that we have the capacity to flood your market. This is basic economics. 40 million people, 350 million people. 40 million people, or maybe it's like 330. I don't know where we're at this point. Maybe let's call it 330. We've got roughly 300 million more people. You can't do to us what we can do to you. That's the point. That's why you guys have tariffs. That's why your tariffs make sense. That's why our tariffs don't make any fucking sense. It's just stuff that like we want from you. And American consumers want it, and American producers haven't been able to replicate it. So we're like, yeah, we want that. So we do it.
Another hidden tax. Our industries cannot compete with the American industries. So the real loser is the consumer, the Canadian consumer, who ends up...
Why can't you compete with the American consumer? There's a lot of things that people prefer from Canada. Right? There's products that are better in Canada than they are in America. There are products that we all use from Canada that we choose. There's American alternatives. This kind of bootlicking and this type of video, like this works. Again, 400,000 views and people, you got like the Trump people like, yeah, show this to your lib friends. Don't show it to your lib friends because your lib friends can read and they're going to fact check and they're going to be like, wait a minute, that's fucking stupid.
Paying a higher price. Now the question becomes, why aren't our industries competitive? And that could be taxes, regulations, or just overall poor economic environment.
Population. Population is the answer to that. Good try by the MAGAs there. Doesn't take much to go viral. Just package together a whole bunch of lies and MAGA will just eat it up.